Josep, I'm very happy to welcome you here in Kyiv. I think it's it's worth to say that Josep is a big friend for Ukraine, that is taking so many efforts to unite European diplomacy in support of Ukraine. This morning, Josep started, just as many other Ukrainians, in the shelter during the massive shelling. Surely this is, not the first visit of Josep to Kyiv, but this is the first time when he witnessed the operation of the Ukrainian air defense. He heard the explosions, and he was born in a city overcoming the consequences of yet another Russian missile attacks. Therefore, it is evident, and nobody is going to be surprised, that the key topic during the talks of Josep in Kyiv would be further scale up of the support of the European Union for Ukraine. I would like to remind you that Josep is the High Representative not only for foreign policy but for security as well, and surely this matter is within his area of responsibility, and he indeed have done a lot for the European Union to work as a united body in this aspect. I would like to start in this respect by expressing words of gratitude to the European Union for engaging Ukraine to the development of the strategy for the development of the European defense industrial complex. And this was something that we've learned from the President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, and already our defense industries has provided their own vision to the European parties. I would like to underline that I'm very grateful to Josep for him working on all of those matters, but I would like to underline the three emergent steps that we are expecting from the European Union in order to further increase of the amount of supply of artillery shells to Ukraine, to support the needs of the front line, to support the needs of our soldiers. Well, first, we are calling upon the governments of the EU countries to sign long-term contracts with defense companies in order to facilitate the further scale up of the defense of the production capacities of those companies. So when they have long-term contracts, they have confidence, and they're able to invest money into further scaling up of their production, and that will significantly increase the amount of the production and supply of shells to Ukraine. We know that the European Defense Agency is signing the respective contracts, and they set the legal frames for that, and we also count on their fast work. The second step, we need to eliminate all the regulatory obstacles and barriers for the cooperation of defense companies and industries of Europe and Ukraine, so that there would be no administrative obstacles or barriers, there would be no legal barriers as well for the cooperation between those companies and for scaling up the production. And third, I would like to say that we would need to facilitate the negotiations of the European countries and companies and governments with third countries to restructure and to reprioritize the available countries of the EU with other countries in order to make sure that the supplies under those contracts would be provided to Ukraine. There's one more aspect. We need to increase the import of the ammunition from third countries, from their warehouses or from their production facilities. Should we act comprehensively along all of those tracks, then the increase of the artillery shells on the front line will be considerable. And this is all within the area of possibility. This is something that Josep will be discussing with me, with the government, with the President of Ukraine. That's another topic. As I've said, the increase of the supply of the artillery shells, this is one of the key topics. Now another point, the point of air defense. In this respect, we are working as fast as possible. We are grateful to our European partners for their supplies. And the third element, in terms of security aspects, surely we're looking forward to the establishment of the support fund for Ukraine. We're looking forward to all decisions being made. We know that Josep is taking so many of his efforts in order to have this mechanism working as effective as possible. Now, from military to political aspects, there's two historical decisions: the start of the accession talks between the Ukraine and the European Union, as well as the facility fund in the total amount of 50 billion euro. Those decisions have been taken, and I would like to extend personal word of gratitude to the European Union for the wonderful examples of the global leadership. That was a signal not only to Europe, to Ukraine, to Russia, but a signal to the whole world on the strengths of the decisions that the European Union is able to take for the sake of security and prosperity of Europe. Now we work in order to implement those decisions within the timetables established. So far we don't see any obstacles. Everything goes according to the plan. This is related to the approval of the negotiation framework and setting the dates for the intergovernmental conference to actually launch the negotiations. The third number of aspects that I would like to raise, this is yet another sanctions package by the European Union. We work in order to make sure it would be as effective as possible. Once again, we underline the necessity to ban the export of products to Russia, those products that are used for the production of missiles and drones by Russians. We've mentioned this multiple times. Certain steps have already been made by European Union, but we need to move forward. And I'm sure that every citizen of Ukraine would be grateful for achievement of this, as this is the topic that relates all of us, because we are all getting up in the morning under the sounds of air defense hitting the missiles. So we need to make sure Russia would have lower number of missiles and drones. There's a positive dynamics with regards to the decision on the seized Russian assets. I welcome the decision of the European Union setting the path to the use of the revenues from those assets for the support of Ukraine, but we need to find the legal mechanisms for seizing the main body of Russian assets. The aggressor has to pay the full price. The last but not the least, this is a very global aspect, the Global Peace Formula Summit. We thank the European Union for supporting this formula by President Zelensky. We thank for the work with the countries of Africa, Asia, Latin America in terms of their engagement in this formula, and particularly work. So thanks to Josep for his active work among the Hispanohablantes in order to promote further this initiative. I thank you at this point, and I'd like to pass the floor to Josep. Dmytro,